Back here with your top stories just waking up at 6:48 and our Smart Start. Happening today, the jury will start to decide the fate of the man accused of killing 3 men in Rochester, including police officer Anthony Mazurkowitz.
We have Hayden Wentworth live in the studio this morning, breaking down what the jury has to deliberate on this morning. Hayden.
Brennan, Michaela, Kelvin Vickers faces more than 20 charges, including aggravated murder. On that most serious charge, the prosecution had to prove when Vickers allegedly shot into a van on July 21st of 2022 that he knew police officers were inside. The district attorney estimates they brought 60 to 80 witnesses and more than 1,000 pieces of evidence throughout the trial. The defense calls the area of the city this happened around Bowman and Laser Streets a war zone, an open drug market, as a marijuana turf war went on. Officers Mazurkowitz and Sino saying were in an unmarked van with tinted windows. The defense says that would have made it very difficult to tell who was in the vehicle.
Whether you want to call it an undercover vehicle, whether you want to talk about the tint, it really didn't matter. You had to look at what that van did, how it moved, how it waited, how it surveilled, and that was not what this other rival group was doing. And I thought the video from the morning of July 20th was a perfect point of comparison for the jury to see this is how it happens on the streets. This isn't what Officers Mazurkowitz and Sang were doing.
Were they able to identify Kelvin Vickers and what was his intent? You clearly saw the random acts of violence, the reckless nature of this gang feud between these two individuals, sets of gangs basically. They were randomly shooting up each other for 2 straight days.
District Attorney Sandra Dorley added in her final summation that Vickers was infatuated with the police once he knew they were on to them, showing evidence of a Rochester police logo searched and saved on Vickers' phone. The judge will instruct the jury this morning, reviewing the exact law of each charge Vickers is facing, and there are more than 20. In the studio, Hayden Wentworth, News 8. Back to you.
Everyone back in court at 9:30. Hayden, thank you. RPD has released the name of the man as well as the charges for him after he was accused of attacking an officer in late September. Jamie James was indicted on several offenses, including assault on an officer. Police said James was in possession of 2 weapons with more in his vehicle the night this happened. Authorities say James ambushed an officer during a chase that ended in a backyard and repeatedly punched the officer. While trying to make the arrests, the fight began over the officer's gun. It was fired 5 times. James was hit once in the face. He remains in custody in the hospital. RPD at this point has not released the name of the officer. A man already on parole for murder has been arrested after a woman was shot to death outside her workplace in Gates. 47-year-old Malik Black is charged with second-degree murder in this investigation, accused of shooting 47-year-old Jessica Romich as she was leaving work at Pixley Industrial Parkway September 30th. Police say the suspect was an ex-employee of EverDry Waterproofing, the company Jessica co-owned. He is being held at the county jail. We're told more charges may be coming depending on what happens with the grand jury. Sunrise traffic here at 6:51. The expressway is wet, but in terms of congestion or accidents, nothing to go there. That is the good news. We will check your Wednesday morning commute again at about 7:25.
Rochester police are restructuring in the name of public safety. The department's reorganization plan will reduce the number of city sections from 5 to 4, but also promising to increase the number of officers who will respond to calls in each area. Another big part of this realignment is the addition of dedicated foot patrols downtown, a targeted detail for the East End every weekend from 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. The department also added a new Special Operations Bureau. Their jobs will be to oversee investigations, tactical operations, and community affairs. However, leaders with the police union say they believe there's been a lack of communication here, and they do not agree with this plan.
We're not sure what this accomplishes. We've been trying to have discussions, contrary to what the release says, unsuccessfully with the department for months now about different plans or different ways to actually make some change and address it, and try to point out some of the shortcomings that they're creating by making some of these changes, and it's fallen on deaf ears.
The union adds staffing shortages are only going to get worse, and that this new plan, moving officers off the shifts they're used to could sink morale and undermine retention.
A lot of people voicing their feelings about The plan for Rochester City Schools to close 11 schools and 5 buildings. The superintendent, Dr. Carmine Peluso, says the proposal is in response to a drop in enrollment and fewer children being born here in Rochester. They are currently set up to handle more than 37,000 students with just about 21,000 enrolled. Some families at this meeting last night say while they do understand the need to close some campuses, they worry there could be more issues.
We've seen enough problems already with the amount of students and the crowding and the classroom sizes, and what I don't want to see is more students in the classrooms, potentially causing more problems, but disrupting and not allowing students who are there to learn to actually learn.
This board has to make some difficult choices. And while we may not agree, we certainly will take into consideration what you have spoken about this evening, and it's tough.
That was the first meeting last night. A second is Saturday morning at 11 at the Wilson Foundation Academy. The board is scheduled to vote on this topic a week from tomorrow.
Happening today, local nurses will vote on whether to have another strike. The talks between Rochester Regional Health leadership and those nurses in their union have been ongoing for a year now, but both sides still mired in that back and forth. We have been told there's no full agreement or any real progress even made during the last bargaining session, with both sides failing to reach a compromise on pay, staffing levels, and scheduling, among many other items. This last strike lasted for 48 hours as scheduled.
Before you head out to work, getting everyone to school, final check of that forecast here with James.
Yeah, a couple of sprinkles right now on the east side, but starting to see first lights. And I'm hoping those clouds thin out a little bit today.
They could.
It'd be nice to catch a little bit of sunshine there. Looking at radar, you can see those showers as they slip on east, but a lot of dry time, though, once you get to the west side. Look towards Brockport and then up towards Hilton as well. It's all quiet on that side of town, so good to see that. Hopefully we can hold on to that. Afternoon highs, upper 50s today. Tomorrow it does look like we push about 60, and we're going to go isolated for your Thursday. Vast majority of the day is dry. Friday, not bad. Also around 60, partly cloudy to maybe even mostly sunny. And then there it is. Both weekend days do include rain. Better than a 50% chance for rain. Looks like Saturday just a little bit wetter there, but really both days looks like we'll be battling showers. And below average, you know, for what it's worth, we're below average, but we're not freezing, so you take the good with the bad, I guess, at this forecast.
There you go. You know what? Rainy days are so nice for just like being inside, finding some maybe good activities for the kids to get them off the screens. Blankets. Love those. Yeah. So, you know, just there's stuff to do.
We say getting off the screens. We've had Halloween-themed episodes of the favorite cartoons, Paw Patrol, everything else going. Yeah, just enjoy that. We'll have updates on that forecast for the weekend when we see you here at about 7:25.
Thanks for joining us this morning. CBS Mornings is up next.
News 8 wherever you are, on RochesterFirst.com, Facebook, Twitter, and on our app for news and weather.